Can we?
Absolutely.
Can we get? Okay. So this is Lene. Lene from Nordisk, and I was already getting you an applause before. So maybe one more hand for Lene from Denmark. And I just learned she's not in Denmark at the moment. She's somewhere stuck in the traffic or couldn't come over here. So Lene, your question is how to fight diabetes on one side. And the other thing, what I read in your website is that at the same time, while you're fighting serious diseases, you're bringing down the CO2 emissions to net zero 2045. So that's a perfect match. So Lene, let's dig into Nordisk and what you can offer for this sustainable future. Thank you very much. Give Lene a hand.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, thank you so much. Yes, I'm from the pharmaceutical company Novo Nordisk, and we are actually the world leader in the market of handling diabetes and other chronic diseases. And if you say, well, diabetes, what? I mean, I don't know anybody with diabetes. Well, maybe you don't, or maybe they don't know they have diabetes, because today there are 400 million people around the world with diabetes. And if we look at India, unfortunately, it looks like India is the capital of diabetes in the world, because in India we have around 77 million people with diabetes. So, and that is going to double up within the next 20 years. So, if you look at the projections, you will eventually know somebody with diabetes. And a doctor said to me the other day, it's actually hard in India to find somebody above 50 years old who do not have diabetes. I think that is maybe a little bit overtaking it, but still, I mean, it's scary numbers. We've been in this field for 100 years. Insulin has been there for 100 years. And we are a company, we are amongst the top 10 pharmaceutical companies in the world. Most of you wouldn't know us, and even the patients, they wouldn't know us, but they for sure know the insulin pen, because we were the ones who actually developed the insulin pen originally. So what I'm going to do is start in the helicopter, and if I can have the next slide, then, I mean, technology has come also to healthcare now, and the life science industry.
Lene, sorry, we don't see your PowerPoint yet. Are you sharing your PowerPoint at the moment?
I'm not sharing it. I can see it up there on the screen. So,
hi, Lene. Just a minute. We are putting the PPT here separately. So when you want us to switch to the next, you tell us, and we will switch. Okay?
If you just switch now.
Yes. Yeah. Just give us 1 second. I confirm in a second.
But I can just talk, and then you just find the slide. But basically, I mean, it's time to act and build the future we want also within healthcare. And with so many people with chronic diseases, and also now epidemics like we are in the middle of COVID, you should say, well, we need to have technology to actually help us there. And what we've seen is that it goes fast. Today, and now on slide 3 already, 60% of healthcare organizations are adding new digital projects, and 42% are accelerating existing digital plans post-pandemic. So the pandemic has really pushed the industry, which was a little bit of a slow mover, I would say. Maybe because we were sitting comfortably on where we were. Maybe because we were a bit scared, because we are a highly regulated industry. But basically, everybody's there, and a lot of new entrants have come into the industry. You see them below on the slide. You see Google are there, Amazon are there, Apple are there. They're all there with digital offerings. And eventually, as patients, we will see them with various digital devices. So, seen from the industry point of view is interesting, but also a bit stressful, I would say. So, it's all the way from research development to the clinical trials, the whole supply chain, the launch we do towards the medical professionals, and it's also how we monitor health records, constantly developing medicines. If we move to the next slide, then there are two major drivers to change we see, and I say, well, it's very much the data, and I believe that's similar to other industries. We see suddenly that with huge amounts of data, we can actually conclude things we were not able to grasp beforehand. So it's actually around trying to be the first one who has an appealing offering in terms of databases, artificial intelligence, cloud-based technologies, whatever. And I think instead of seeing Apple, Amazon, Google, etc. as competitors, we are right now moving into that the pharmaceutical industry starts partnering up a lot. And I was in a meeting a couple of weeks ago with one of the top executives of Google, and Google said, well, we are not after starting to become a pharmaceutical industry, but we are after trying to actually use our offerings to help society, help patients to actually get some more appealing offerings. Because any of us who's been a patient or are patients today know that it is cumbersome to go to a hospital. It is cumbersome to manage your disease. Remember to take your tablets or injection or whatever you have. So if that would all be made easier, both for the patient, for the healthcare professionals, so the doctors, the nurses, the actual workers, etc., then I think we are all interested in this could happen the sooner the better. So if we go to the next slide, then what we see is that the best-in-class pharma is actually the ones who are really able to grasp the innovation, move fast, and really become a powerhouse. And so Novartis, who is one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world, they have been fantastic in doing this. They are based here in India as well, a huge site in Hyderabad. I must say I'm full of admiration for them. But somebody like Bayer is also a pharmaceutical company. They have really also managed. They said we want to be digital in everything you do, and they managed to really ingrain it in everything they do, and they are moving very, very fast. Also, Pfizer, another pharmaceutical company, they have innovation hubs across the world, and a lot is happening there. Digitalization, hubs, accelerators, etc. So what are we doing in Novo Nordisk? If I could have the next slide. Well, we have said, well, we are actually focusing on 3 areas where we believe we should innovate. So we are doing something we call digital innovation consultation, which is actually accelerating innovation efforts in our local markets by using experts in the field, could be consultants, agencies, etc., who can support project implementation and in a lean and fast way. Then we're also doing open innovation, where we work a lot with startups, and here in Bangalore, where I'm sitting, and I'm actually right now in Whitefield because I had a big meeting here, and with the traffic in Bangalore, I couldn't rely on moving to your place, even though I would have loved being there in person. But what we're doing is we're working with startups. We are now in the 3rd wave of working with startups. We've been there for 1.5 years. We've been working on this, still learning a lot, still failing, still learning again, but also being successful with startups, not only Indian startups, but also startups from Israel, from the US, etc. And we keep, learning a lot and keep becoming more digital, both in local processes, but also in global processes. It could be simple things like how to do a very fast, innovative market research, how to do collection of questionnaires. It could be how do we actually become better at collaborating with our suppliers. Things like that we're trying to put out to the startups so they can actually help us in thinking differently like we would all do. And then moonshots, which is actually looking beyond, that's done from our headquarters, but it's very much how can we transform our business into the future, because we don't know how society is going to deal with diabetes in the future, but we for sure know that there need to be some really disrupting technologies that need to help, because otherwise nobody will be able to deal with just one of these cardiovascular diseases, and there are more of them. And they are the killer #1 in the world, that is the cardiovascular diseases. If I can have the next slide, then, I was also asked to talk a little bit, how is it all connected with this environment? And we have all the time been extremely focused on the environment at Novo Nordisk. And 3 years ago, we did a strategy for Circular to Zero, where we want to make sure that we as a company, before 2041, actually have a net zero emission that's zero across our entire value chain. Last year, our global production, so our factories became carbon neutral. That was only by doing a lot of collaboration with the energy producers, making sure we are taking green energy out from solar, wind, or other sources to our global manufacturing production sites. So we are working on how to become have zero impact as a company. So one example of that is our pens. I mentioned them in the beginning. These pens actually are disposed when they're used. And the thing is, how can you actually reuse this? Because it's a mix of medicine, pens, and metal, and it's a rather advanced process. So every year, liters of water and large amounts of energy are used to actually try to see both to produce them, but also to see can we reuse them. And if I can have the next slide. This is actually where we show some of this, this is in the production chain, these are the wires we're using in our pens. But if you take the next slide, then what's happening is we try to look and can we actually recycle? This is one of the examples of when you recycle pens, we can actually produce a chair out of the plastic and some of the metal elements from the existing pen. But it is advanced, and it's not something that's easily done. For instance, in a market like India, how do we collect these pens, get them back from all over India, from all patients and hospitals and clinics and pharmacies? That's still to be solved. We do not have the answer yet, but we are very curious, and we are very curious to find partners who could be interested in actually partnering up with us and helping us to deal with this issue. Because we believe it's an issue not only for us, not for our patients alone, it's also for society. So we need to figure out how to solve this issue. But what we actually, if I can have the last slide, what we actually want to do, we want to make sure that we all adapt a circular mindset. And what we've done in Novo Nordisk is, for instance, now with the COP26, we are watching it, and we're watching politicians, and we believe more can be done. So right now, last year we announced we are now collaborating with our biggest suppliers to make them neutral as well. And this year, after COP26, we actually announced we are now partnering up with some of the other large pharmaceutical companies to try to figure out what role do we want to take, how can we collaborate to actually have an even more circular mindset, and what can be done for the whole supply chain in the pharmaceutical industry, but also towards the whole healthcare system and society at large. So we believe that not only should politicians, not only should we as individuals, but also businesses need to take up this, and a lot of great businesses are already taking up this responsibility in India. I'm so impressed, but more can be done, and we need to be even faster. So with those words, I'd like to end my presentation, and thank you for the opportunity to present to you. I hope you got a little bit of insight into the pharmaceutical industry, diabetes, and circular mindset.
Thank you, Lene, for sharing all this thought. There's one last question I have to you. The question is, Lene, I saw these advertisements from Neom. You're familiar with Neom?
No.
Okay, Neom is a totally new planned city right at the Red Sea, and what they're promising is you're getting a digital twin. A digital twin of yourself. What's your perspective on that?
So, I mean, I'm not a technical expert, but I must say that what we're seeing right now in the pharmaceutical industry, that more and more is being tailor-made to the individual patient, and more is also because we realize we're all different. So getting a digital twin, well, if that can solve anything and still keep us as individuals, I mean, I think we should give it a try. So that would be my sort of very individual answer, but not very technical, I must say.
Right, so you would be open to work on that because I saw you're open for open innovation. So if any startup is around and thinking about, well, can we make a digital twin of a human, you would be more than open. Is that right?
So you saw we had actually one of our focus areas is this moonshots. So I mean, any great ideas, we are open to it, and it's all new to us as well. But we believe that we need to partner up to solve some of the issues that both we as company but also society are looking into. And as I said to my employees, I've said it now for a year, I really want a robot in the office, one of these walking around trying to help out answering questions. I'm still waiting for it. So if there's somebody out there with one of these pepper robots who can answer whatever questions I have, or digital twin, I would be very happy to see that and start a dialogue. I think that's the most important, that we have the dialogue and the collaboration partnering.
Thank you, Lene, and please, the audience here, give her an applause, and as well the audience online. Hope you enjoyed it, and you know where to land at Nordisk, because there's open innovation, open doors. So thank you very much on that one, and you see Anand is clapping hands as well.